My name's Hilda, and I would love to share with you tonight how I first came to know the Lord Jesus Christ. I was not brought up in any kind of Christian family, quite the opposite in fact. My parents were good parents, but they didn't want anything to do with what they called mass hysteria. So I wasn't allowed to go to Sunday school with my friends or anything like that. However, from a very early age, I can remember thinking, is there anyone out there? And I remember, I must have been no older than 4, lying in bed at night thinking, if I died tonight, where would I go? And just in case there was anyone listening, I developed the habit of praying at night to send myself to sleep, just in case there was anyone out there listening. Well, as I grew up, I grew out of all that and became, as you do, a cocky teenager. And at the age of 18, off I went to uni, couldn't wait to leave home and do my own thing and show the world a thing or two. Well, I studied French and I had a brilliant first term. I made lots of friends, I had a boyfriend, and it was really good. And then after just one term, they whisked us all off to spend 6 months in the French University of Bordeaux, which was a great experience and I don't regret it for a minute. But it uprooted us all, and then 6 months later we were back again, but we were back to a different Bristol than the one we'd left. By that time my boyfriend had graduated and I had decided to share a flat with a friend of mine who just happened to be a Christian, and we used to talk about God quite a lot. So I didn't have such a good time this time, and I began to seek God again. I went out and I bought a paperback New Testament and I began to read it, thinking that I knew what was in the Bible because we'd read it at school from time to time. However, I was totally gobsmacked when I began to read the Gospels, and I was totally amazed by this wonderful person who Jesus Christ was. I had just never realised at all. One night I said to the walls of my room, God, if you're out there, I would really like to know. Well, nothing happened that night, but gradually I got to know some of my Christian friends from the Christian Union, and there was just something about them. I couldn't put my finger on it. All I could describe it as was that a kind of assurance deep inside that no matter what happened to them, they would be okay. And that was something that at that time I really wanted. And I think I got quite depressed at that time. It felt like I was in a deep, dark well, just going down and down with no way out. Until one evening, these friends of my friends had come to tea at our flat. It was a Sunday, and they were all going to a Pentecostal church down in St Paul's in Bristol. And I really didn't want to be on that grotty flat on my own. So I said, can I come too? Off we went. And this place was like no church I'd ever been into before. You think of your stereotypical English church experience where everyone's really quiet and well behaved and polite. It was wild. People were cheering the preacher on. They were singing their hearts out. And a part of me thought, whoa, get me out of here quick. But another part of me thought, this is real. I think that this is what I may have been looking for all my life. So, dear Pastor George Deakin, who became like a second daddy to me, and his wife, preached. And it was just like it was going boom, boom, boom into my heart and mind. I thought, how does he know what I'm experiencing at this moment? Well, of course he didn't know, but God knew, and he was talking to my heart that night. And at the end of the sermon, Pastor George said, if there is anyone here who wants to get to know Jesus, put your hand up. Well, I didn't want to do that. But on the other hand, I did want what he was talking about. So I put my hand up. And in that moment, it was though a curtain was being drawn aside in my mind, and I knew, for the first time in my life, I knew that God was real and that he cared. You know, there's a song that goes, just reach out and he'll reach in. Take your broken heart and make it whole again. It doesn't matter who you are or where you've been, just reach out and he'll reach in. And that is exactly what happened that night. I reached out, he reached in. A lady prayed with me, and I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ in that moment. And from that moment, my life was totally changed. I never suffered depression. He put joy into my life. He put a purpose into my life. And he began to change me from the inside out, because a lot of things needed to change. And it's been a lifetime's work. Has it always been easy? No, absolutely not. Has he always been with me? Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I would just say, if there's anyone out there who is in the same position as I was back then I just pray and hope that you will do what I did. Just reach out and see him reach in. Good night and God bless you.
Well, if something about what Hilda just shared spoke to you, we would love to talk to you about it further. You can just drop us a message on Facebook or email us at info@sheffieldchristianlifecentre.co.uk, and we will get back in contact with you and just have a conversation and help you as best we possibly can. You know, this life that we live, this life where we've invited Jesus into it, it's the best life ever, and we want to just help as many people as possible come to know him too. So please do drop us a message, that'd be great. But hey, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you soon.